How you going, everybody? It's me, Waddles. Today, lads, we'll be finishing what we started. We'll be making a deep dive into the structure that Minecraft 1.20 needs, taking a look at the amazing custom items, and talking how this thing would actually complete 1.20 perfectly. Right now, to please President Taft, smash like, and let's do this. Since we last took a look at this amazing structure, a lot has changed. Multiple new 1.20 snapshots have dropped, and a brand new structure has officially been added to the game. I also, in 100% survival, have grinded up the supplies, and this time, I'm going into this thing with enchantments. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. This is technically a part 2. To enjoy this one and immerse yourself in it fully, you don't have to see part 1. But if you see part 1, it might make a little bit more sense. So consider. So goal number 1 of today's big excavation adventure, if you will, is to dive deep into this structure right here and find all of the secrets hidden within it, as in the amazing sword. Since our little adventure into this thing last time, I now know and fully realize that this thing is laced, ridden, completely rigged with traps all over this thing. Look, it won't happen again. It happened before. I will not fall for any of the traps at all this time. No, get out of here. No, not the shulkers already. Stop it with the shulkers. Stop it. No, it's the worst thing in the world. So I was checking out whimzee's video on like the whole process that went into designing this temple, and whimzee made an amazing point about this thing right here. Kevin, you see, is a shulker, and shulkers send you up into the air, and up into the air is nice in a sense, but it's also kind of like counterproductive to this whole structure, where you have to go down. A structure like this is actually amazing potential for a reverse shulker, or in other words, something that like stops you from jumping. Now, my friend, my mummified ancient friend, I think you are the key to unlocking the puzzle today. You see, flashback, in the last episode, when we were exploring one of these things, one of those dried up things dropped an Ankh shard. And I think the Ankh is the key. That means when we're checking this thing out today, yes, we need to get lucky just like that and get a total of 9 of these things. At least I think. We'll take a dive into the custom items after we finish this thing, but the Ankh shard is very important. Archaeology pods, I love them. What more do I love about these things? The fact that there could be loot inside of them too. It's so cool. I didn't really think to gather up anything that wouldn't, burn, so this is gonna have to do. Custom loot, there's custom loot all over this thing. One thing that I wonder about is, with 1.20, we have the sus sand. What about orange sus sand? Even if it doesn't really generate anywhere, logically it should exist, right? Alright, so nothing there, complete and total waste of time. I think what we want to look for at this point is some kind of husk spawner. I know I definitely found one before when I was here, and I think I kind of blew it up and got rid of it. Kevin, old friend, old buddy, you got any word on a husk spawner around here? Little problem. Now I've made it all the way to the bottom of the temple, very, very bottom right here, and it's a dead end. I'm trapped all the way down here. I didn't take the potion loot. Now, whoops. Backtracking our journey a little bit, back over to the lava room, I found something interesting. And not only do we have a brewing stand with these useful potions, but we also have a wall, and suspiciously, if I dig into this wall somehow, maybe I'm clairvoyant or something like that, but somehow, I know that this wall goes somewhere. Breaking our way through the wall, cutting right through the temple, we have even more loot, another bit of loot, and another room with fire at the bottom. Also, if I'm hearing things correctly, I do definitely think I hear another husk somewhere. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I'll be putting you right on a hotbar with me, buddy. Enchanting golden apple, that's insane. All right, so next up we got a parkour room and another parkour room. Not a problem at all for me, though. I'm the king. This area right over here. Yes, this hallway. It looks insanely dangerous, probably rigged with explosives or something, but also very, very intriguing. All right, so how are we gonna do this? I could move into this thing and just break all the pressure plates. That would work, right? But it wouldn't be as exciting, thrilling, and bone chilling. So instead, what I think I'll do is I'll inch my way through this thing. This is really, really cool. I like this idea. But inch our way through this thing. Oh, whoops, that's my bad. Okay, well, it's just poison. Tiny bit of poison. I'll survive that. No, but really, this is such a cool idea. Imagine having something like this in the vanilla game. Well, maybe tripwire hooks and also, of course, explosives here too. The dramatic music is playing for a reason here, though, lads. We've made it through thick and thin, through ups and downs, quite literally. We've made it. The big loot, the best prize of this whole temple. That sword right there. Only problem is it's lodged in bedrock. I'm not going to be able to mine that block, just trust me. Yeah, we need to unlock it, and to unlock it, quite literally, there are hints all over this room. And we don't even need to read. It's an Ankh. Alright, so look, you're gonna have to cut me a break on this one. Theoretically, I'm meant to go through the temple, maybe find a couple husk spawners or something, and take out the husks. As I'm doing that process, of course, I find Ankh shard after Ankh shard after Ankh shard, until I eventually get all the way up to 9 Ankh shards. That's the golden number today. And as you just saw, that's a totally achievable feat. I had to take out like 20 husks total, and I have 9 Ankh shards. Now to actually be able to use these Ankh shards, we're gonna need a crafting station. And with the crafting station placed down inside of this thing, we place 9 of them in here just like that. And we get a brand new item, the actual Ankh itself. Now this Ankh, it's kind of like a totem, but yeah, more on that in a minute. For now, the big thing that we need to know is, now that we've explored this whole temple and found the key, we're basically good to go. We got lucky this time. This room doesn't generate in every single temple. It's cool. We walk up to the sword with this thing, and we get this particle thing going on. It's kind of like a hint or something. If we try and use this thing on the sword, we don't really get anything happening. Instead, if we drop this on the ground near the sword... Oh my gosh, this work is amazing right there. The sword goes up, magically spins in the air. Oh, it's perfect. And now, well, now the sword is mine. The sandstone sword. Oh, it's so cool. This is amazing. And really, really dangerous too. And so, Whimzee's amazing, better desert pyramid. Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. Now that I've seen and experienced this, I'm never going to unsee and unexperience it. The vanilla pyramids, I mean, they don't even compare at all. Next up, let's take a look at some of these new items and talk about just what they do. When making this data pack, Whimzee went to town. We've got 9 brand new items inside of this pack. One of them questionably new, and then of course, a brand new-ish mob. Moving into this temple, one of the biggest things you will notice all over the place are all of these custom vases. They're really, really cool. It basically takes that whole archaeology pot concept from 1.20 and complexifies it? I don't know. These are some pretty crazy looking models. The vases are really cool, but unfortunately you can't bring them home. If you try and soak touch it, nothing will happen. All that you can do is move into this thing and break the vases open. The vases hold loot. Sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's bad. Our next custom item is going to be something that you can get really, really close to, as in you can literally put it on. If you're lucky, buried deep inside of this temple in a room, you'll find an armor stand with these boots on it. These boots are called the Dune Strider boots. They're about the equivalent, it seems, to iron boots, except there's a new buff. These new Dune Strider boots, they're just like Soul Speed boots, except instead of soul sand, it's all normal sand, including sandstone. Check this out. We move pretty quickly on the sandstone over here. We move over to the terracotta, and now it's like normal movement speed. Back outside on the sand again, and we're flying. We move so quickly on sand. This is an interesting concept. If deserts were bigger and maybe like just as barren, this would be a really cool way to actually like travel across the desert pretty quickly. When it comes to durability on these boots, you only have 65, so you gotta be careful. No matter what, when you walk into this temple, every single time you're gonna find a barrel sitting right here. Inside of the barrel and on the barrel is a brand new potion. It's called the Potion of Safe Passage. Let's say I jumped into the temple and I, wanted out of this temple. Well, if I brought one of these potions with me, I could drink it in this room, go over to the center, and levitate straight on up outside of this temple. If I press shift, the effect is canceled at any time. That's some kind of strange, ancient magic. One of my favorite things that I absolutely love, and I think ties into the 1.20 theme literally perfectly, is a map that we can find inside of this thing. You go to this desert temple, you explore it, and hopefully you're lucky. At some point, you find the Deep Dark Explorer map, which will lead you to the nearest ancient city. Ancient cities are pretty tricky to find, and I think that's a good thing. But I also don't think it would hurt to have like a hint somewhere in the game. Maybe a map in an ancient pyramid long abandoned? I feel like lore-wise, that's amazing. What does that imply? Of course, as we've been continuously experiencing today, the husk is remodeled and renamed to a... Well, it's not renamed, but it's a mummy. Mummies to fit the theme literally perfectly. If it were going to make it into the vanilla game, maybe to just avoid that whole mummy stereotype thing, if you want to call it lazy, you just leave it as a husk, plain old, good to go. Of course, as we have found out big time today, the husk has a brand new drop item. Very important. This brand new drop item is so cool. I love how this mechanic is done. It's so interesting. You take some time inside of the temple, take out the mummies inside of the thing, get the crafting ingredient, craft the Ankh. The Ankh is essentially a brand new totem, Minecraft's second one. Except here's the difference. When holding the Ankh in your main hand, you get the regeneration effect continuously. When you hold the Ankh in your offhand, however, you get the resistance effect continuously. Oh, that is so cool, and it's so strange too. It got me speechless. Clearly, all this Ankh stuff is pretty sweet. Our final cool Ankh functionality, other than unlocking that sword, it respawns you. Quite literally, this thing is just like the Totem of Undying, plus those extra bonus effects that you get from holding this thing. It's ancient, it's magical, and it makes no sense. But I love it, I love it, it's beautiful. When it comes to good loot, clearly, this pyramid is full of it, both new and old. But when it comes to the very best loot, the big grand prize, it's the sandstone sword. This model is gorgeous. Stat speaking, with this thing, we're looking at something that is a little bit faster than the netherite sword, but slightly weaker. But weaker, let's be honest, doesn't even matter. If we right-click this thing, all of a sudden, sand begins flying around me. From where? I have no clue. If I go ahead and spam this thing, I get sand and sand and sand and sand. We get a ton of it. I will be honest, this is an ancient sword, which means it's full of ancient mysteries. Earlier on, when we first got a hold of this sword, it looked like the particles damaged pots. I'm not too sure. When I move around with ancient sandstone sword and particles swirling around me, it doesn't really seem to do anything to the mummies. Admittedly, I'm not 100% sure exactly what this thing is doing, but you can't deny it looks pretty sweet. So clearly, over the course of our multi-episodic deep dive into this desert temple upgrade, it's good. Transforming Minecraft's current desert pyramid into something like this would not only add a whole lot of intrigue to the desert, but it would also add a brand new thing for players to take on. One of the biggest themes of Minecraft 1.20 is exploration, and clearly, by adding a new destination to explore to, and then something to do inside of it, or, well actually something to explore inside of it, I mean, it's all literally exploration. It's true that you can explore the inside of some of the structures in vanilla Minecraft, mainly the end city, but no structure in vanilla Minecraft has an exploration that is quite like this one. With the possibility for different generation every single time, and complex traps the players would need to figure out, this thing would provide hours and hours worth of content. Taking into account some of the things that we already have in Minecraft 1.20, like those brand new archaeology pots and armor trims, this would be a great way to actually find some of that new content too. Imagine how cool it'd be to work your way through one of these temples slowly, hopefully to find a full set of trimmed armor. And obviously, don't even get me started on the potential for brand new types of items as well. But, speaking of new items and completely different loot, with an update as full as 1.20, maybe something as big as this is better left for a different update. You see, logically, when the devs update a feature, they will most likely not turn around and update it again in the next update, especially if they did a total revamp of something, like this right here. But what do you think? Should the devs consider updating old structures? And if they did, how complex should it be? Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below, and finally, before we wrap everything up, I need to see what's inside of the top of the temple. I haven't checked yet. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. There's a secret room in top of the temple. Oh, this is insane. And oh, I broke into somebody's grave. and I'm cursed for generations now. Thanks. Huge shout out to Whimzee for making this data pack. It's beautiful. There's a link to the pack down in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed this mini-series. Smash a like for more, subscribe. This has been me, Waddles. I'll see you all tomorrow.